tasseling away again in Cornerita. Oh my god, it smells so good in here. We're throwing tassels, pollen. We got plants are obviously transpirating. Maybe we better turn this up, huh? Alright, that's up another notch. Admittedly, I really didn't set up ventilation in this tank for ridiculously giant corn plants. I just wasn't expecting anything this tall to be growing in here. But look at what we got going on there. We got some little corn female parts starting to pop out. So that's exciting. And I see it's drying out here, so I'm gonna hit it with some more water. We got some soil batches cooking in here still. Look at that. We got nice mycelium going on. I guess we might as well come through. And that tomato was just showing ripe a little bit last night into early this morning, and now it's just about fully ripe. I'm going to let it go probably till tomorrow so it's super ripe, but I'm impressed. And check it out, hey, tomorrow is January 1st, so isn't that a nice little treat to kick off the year? Everything else is doing well. Did a little bit of low stress training on these guys. Even did some LST on the fig. Kind of cinched that down another level because it's just pulling away. But yeah, just thought I'd get a quick shot in here. Lettuce is coming along nice. Time to make some more salad, huh? Look at those beet leaves. Damn, son. I gotta thin those beets horribly bad. Well, it's a very short window, a very narrow one. But when the sun comes through, I like to give my plants a little shot of it. Kind of that Indiana Jones moment. Oh yeah. January 1st. Happy New Year. Ripe red tomato, another one ripening. That's going on my salad tonight. Oh yeah. Well, it's more and more and more summery in here every day. We got some big polleny tassels hanging down. I don't know if you can see all that pollen. Well, now you can. Floating in the air. Oh man, so cool. And we got some ears starting to pop out. Dink. There's one. Thought I saw some over here too. Probably should check these for water again. I have a feeling, in all honesty, that we're gonna have to abandon this experiment before we're finished. For a few reasons. But it was an interesting project. And I'll have to look into how we could do this and try and limit the corn height a little better, but keep vigor and health of the plant. Maybe we'll go for a shorter stature corn. I don't know. It was a fun experiment to try. I'm not entirely done with it yet, but reaching the end of probably chop, drop. We'll probably reblend all the corn stalk material back into the soil, and maybe we'll plant our next corn batch right into that. Like we would out in the field if we were, blazing under in the fall, planting back in the spring. Similar effect. Anyway, just thought I'd do a quick update. All right. Steaks came a day early. Well, they're pretty nice. They're plastic coated stainless steel steaks from AC Infinity, of course. This company makes a lot of pretty good stuff. Thus far, no complaints. We'll see. So far, it's all lasting well, too. So we'll see how that continues or not. But I'm so happy with AC Infinity gear so far. So I just thought I'd bring you a shot around to the back side here. We saw we had some a ripe tomato and some ripening tomatoes out like in the front we can really see. Down here in the back on this other side we got another one starting to ripen. That'll be ready in a couple days. So it's coming on. And this other one that's going in my salad tonight is nice and red, ripe. I really hope the camera does the color of that justice, but you know. Anyway, steaks are here, so it's time to do some pruning and some staking, and probably give a good foliar feed on everybody, just to really crank that growth rate up. And then, of course, I'll have to stay on top of water. So you can get a look inside of these. You can see steel, and I actually just had an end cap come off the spike end, but we'll plaster that back on. I'm sure it'll be fine. And I'll give you a zoom out. These are 5-footers. They make like 3, 4, 5. I don't even know all what sizes, but these are 5s. And I got one in over there, so you can see why I chose 5. Because anything taller than that, we're going to be running into lights. I do still have probably 6 inches. I can go straight up to, right straight up to hooks up here, and pull the lights another 6 or 8 inches higher, like 6 or so, which I may do to help spread the light better, but we'll see. For now, I figured I'd better stay underneath that, because even if we go a little higher, you never want plants like right there next to a light. You want to be at least a good, like usually at least 12 inches, but with these things, unless you're dimmed way down, you probably want to be a good 18, I would think. I mean, here's an example of these leaves up here are curling a bit. They're under a little bit of light stress because they're a little too tall. This lemon actually needs another prune as its health is coming back. It's dropped off. I think it's aborted all those fruits and flowers from before because it was starting to flower and fruit, but maybe it will come back around. Also, that may be partly due to light cycle. I may play with light cycle on this at some point, but anyway, just thought I would point out those little details. I'm just going to show here how much tomato trimming material is coming out of here. And more. For a reason, you can see they're getting like a serious haircut. And there's a reason for that. Several reasons, many reasons for that. One, airflow. I know this looks so bald here now, doesn't it? But look how much large leaf basil is hiding underneath those other tomatoes, all that bush. And then my huge thyme mother plant that I put in with this tomato was barely struggling along in the under canopy there. So now that's got light again, and also this was going through a tremendous amount of water. This is due for water again. I just soaked this thing last night. So all that extra vegetation was transporting a tremendous amount of moisture out of the soil very quickly. So that'll help slow down the rate the soil is using water, which will be good. And it'll allow good airflow in the under canopy here so we don't have diseases, molds, pests, all those sort of problems building up. And it'll let good light get into each leaf and each fruit and each part of the plant completely so they can really express their full genetic capacity. So that's why. And then these stakes are great. We're going to basically build a wall of tomatoes here. And we got 3 different varieties started. I'll probably bring more in. Right now we have the Reisentraub, the San Marzano, it's a big plum tomato, and the Black Krim, which is a big dark colored beefsteak, super flavorful. And of course we got some holy basil here, rocking along. Alright, good. So you can see I've pruned off the lower leaves and suckers on these as well. We're going to allow good airflow under here. I'll probably trim back the oregano over time and just keep that, let that stay as an under canopy. That'll help provide a mulch cover basically and keep green living plants on the soil but not interfere, and actually should complement the flavor of the tomatoes. So one other point I wanted to make while I was in here pruning is you'll notice I'm not leaving any of those trimmings there, and even the dead leaves, the dead tomato leaves that I find that are falling off here. When I find stuff like this, it comes out of here. Why is that? Because outside in a regular outdoor environment, I'd love to leave material on the soil like that, right? That's organic material. But here in a grow environment, that's a place for pests and disease and molds and problems to start in your controlled grow environment. So we always remove trimmings out of the grow tent and get rid of them, dispose of them entirely. And don't let them sit around in a bucket in your house for a week. Get rid of them. Take them outside, dump them out in the woods, be done with it. Yes, I'm going to belabor the point, because too many growers make this mistake. We're going to go outside and dump it. I'm in here looking at things, and I realize, holy cow, there's more figs coming on, which surprised me. That's cool. This thing's growing like crazy. And I realize there's more coming on, and new growth, and more. And then I realized there's one ripening. And I didn't look a lot further at the time, but I come back over here later while I'm working on the trellis on the tomatoes, and what do I find? But that looks like a ripe fig, or darn close to it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Looking forward to trying that. Well, I picked it, or read a little more on it, and it seems like it actually probably is ripe, so I'm going to give it a try. So let me cut a little. Oh my god, it is ripe. It's totally ripe. And it's delicious. Oh yeah. Wow. First fig ever off. I suppose I should point out amongst my pruning, when pruning in the garden and making space so that everyone has adequate light and space so that things can live healthy and really grow well, be brave, my friends. Don't be afraid to do a bunch of good pruning when necessary. And you'll see I even culled a plant here. There's just no room for a third plant. The idea here was to sprout. I think I put 4 seeds in. I don't know. I probably culled the other one already, or I might have culled that one tonight too. I'm not sure. But the point is, you know, you start with extra, you pick the best from that, and then you give them the best environment and opportunity. Don't let them crowd themselves out. You can control the environment, control it, because environment dictates gene expression. So yeah, whole different animal now. I will say, the other nice thing about running the stakes in the planters rather than trying to tie off the tent poles or permanent infrastructure on the tent is being able to move these planters around while they're still staked up. That is very handy, and I'll have to be careful to make sure not to cross over, say, from this plant to this stake as they get taller and bigger, because that does keep it so you can move them around. And I could actually, if I needed to, move these out to, say, the 4x4 tent to isolate them for a while or to make space for something else. So very handy. I think I'm probably going to go back on these guys, and well, that one not too bad. This one I might top the edge of this soil up a little bit more with some fresh mix once it's finished cooking down a bit. This I think we're definitely going to go back and top up. This is basically just in the original amount of soil, and I do want to bump up the volume for that. Bump up the volume, bump up the volume. Well, like, holy cow. That made a little space and room. I basically just wrapped them all up in a bunch and tied them over. I don't know what we're going to get out of this. We got a whole bunch of pollen in here. A whole bunch of pollen. It smells incredibly like a cornfield, which is awesome. And you know, we're gonna roll it like this for now. I want to get back down out of the lights. I don't want the lights to end up you know, getting damaged, or the corn. But I'm losing a lot of grow bags lately for size stuff. But another reason I like the crates. Whoops. Oh well. Speaking of SOPs, we talked about keeping things clean and sterile. I should mention, I know we're working with soil and trying to keep diversity and robust biology, but we're looking for the right type of biology to work in our soil and not stuff that's going to work against us. So we're trying to encourage the good stuff and discourage the bad stuff. Just remember, environment dictates genetic expression. I'm going to keep saying it until you get it, and I'll still keep saying it anyway, because I got to remind myself too. Anyway, started some beets. Fill this whole tray with beets. This is one of the shallower trays that I have, a little thinner. So I think it'd be good for growing beets. The whole point of this video was kind of pre-scoping what you're doing when you're growing. It's never a good idea to plan to grow something first time out and expect to be super successful. You're probably going to need to learn a lot of nuances before you really grow something well. I can attest to that. I've never grown anything well the first time out. Well, that's not true. I've had dumb luck a few times, but for the most part, you'll find you might have dumb luck once or twice. You want to consistently grow something really well, you're going to need to learn all the nuances of growing it. And so if you're unfamiliar with growing things, or you haven't grown something in a long time, or you don't know if your soil will work with that, any of the variables that can happen in a grow environment is a good idea to kind of get an idea ahead of time how things do. So I've been watching the lettuce and the beets here, and they are doing really stellar, actually. I'm super impressed, and I've never really had a good soil mix or even really taken time to try to grow good lettuce before. And I've tried growing it a few times in native soils. That can be tricky because of weather patterns mostly. But I saw how thick and healthy and robust these beet leaves are doing. I do need to go in here and pull a bunch of these and thin these out, but overall these plants are super healthy and happy. And I get this, it's beet ginger. It's kind of like a kvass. It's like a ferment. I get it from the local farm stand. Shout out to Hardy Roots on Route 9. In Claremont. But I was thinking I could make my own here if I had beets, because I already have ginger. So why not grow some more beets, and maybe I'll make some of my own, because super good for health, gut health, blood cleansing, liver, down the list, man. Beetroot is awesome. The greens can be good for you too, but they also can be high in oxalates, so you got to be careful with not eating too many of those. Same with chards and that kind of stuff. Anyway, so my point is, I noticed how well these are growing. I said, well, this soil mix works really well for growing beets. That's one thing I should be able to do really easily. And you can see how much growth we can get in a very small space, even if we're just taking green production off the top and steaming them or something. But I thought I would do a round and, yeah. Well, all right. Good bit of transplanting and rearranging done. So I tell you what, go through soil awful fast these days. This crate is nearly empty, so that means we really only have like 4 crates of soil left. One of those is really only like 3/4 or so. I need to mix more, but man, it gets expensive quick. I have to wait on that for a while. But at least we got things plugged in and rolling along. We got a little bit of soil for some fresh plantings. I want to get some more lettuce in, and then at some point I'll probably be able to flip maybe the lettuce crates back, I don't know, I'm not going to have a lot of soil to recycle. I have to keep pumping soil in until we get everything replaced out and filled up. Alright, that's it for now. It's warm in here. Wow, I'm sweating.